Alright, hello everyone, it's mysticjuicer back with some more Yomi action. This is continuing my playthrough of Summer Smash 3. I face Fivec in the third round, and I'm not playing Rook here. I decided after seeing who I was up against not to play Rook. I do not like playing Rook versus Fivec Setsuki in particular, and probably any high-level Setsuki in general. Setsuki just has too many answers to Rook's game plan, and the way that you would basically have to play Rook, I feel like in this matchup, is block as many attacks as you can, try to feel out when he's going to throw, and then try to punish that as hard as possible. And it's just not a very comfortable matchup for me, so I went into the lab a little bit, and I've had okay success with Valerie against Setsuki's in the past, so I figured I'd go with that instead. So there's a couple of things in this match that are going to be clear errors, and I'll try to point those out, mostly to do with playing cards face down when it comes time for me to try to bluff. Generally, against Setsuki, your bluffs mean nothing. If she is going to empty your hand, she's going to empty your hand, and there's really nothing you can do about that. There's no incentive for her to hold back cards, because the main thing that she wants to do is dump her hand. So the early game for Valerie, and after playing this matchup in a couple of against a couple of different people and against Fivec again later on in some casuals, I don't actually like the Valerie pick either. But the reasoning here is Valerie can do significant damage. She has a lot of good options in her queen and her single ace that blow up everything that Setsuki could attack with except for her own queen. So that's pretty good. She's got some good, safe, conservative options that deal a fair amount of damage. You know, ace dealing 10, queen dealing up to 14 if you pump it twice. And then she can get tremendous damage off of an attack starter, poking with a 2, which again she can make 1.0 speed with a single 10. Not always a guarantee because of Setsuki's counters, but still pretty good. And then she gets pretty good damage off of throw as well. Throw 6, jack pump pump is 33. Throw into ace ace is 22, so that's pretty good as well. Getting poked out here with a couple of attacks. It looks like, as if I remember correctly, he basically had no throws in that hand, which is why. Yeah. Oh wow, 2 kings. Yeah, that's really rough. So the nice thing for me here is that it's going to be a little bit more difficult for him to dump his hands, his future hands, with so many kings already in the discard. So I should probably be powering up those 8s, to be quite honest. The only issue with powering up 8s is I run the risk of running out of throws or getting stuck on a really low throw hand. So probably better not to. I don't know. I probably feel better having the throws in hand, even though I wish I could power them up so that I could, if I draw another normal attack, I can get, if I ever hit a normal attack combo, I can do the 4 normals into ace-ace, immediately get the ace-ace back, which is kind of the dream. So managed to get a, he's been really dodge, he's been basically playing a dodge attack range through the early part of this set, from what I can remember. Basically have to decide if I really want to go in right now. And do end up pumping with 2 queens. Yeah, I don't mind that. It's pretty likely that I need to get the damage in. What's the benefit of holding a queen over a jack? Well, queen beats jacks, kings, and twos and aces on its own. On the other hand, holding the jack, if I don't manage to get 4 normals together, and with his dodge heavy range, it's looking like that's going to be a difficult situation for me. If I hold the jack, I can still get, I draw some more face cards, really good damage. If I draw any other face card, it's already basically like having ace-ace. It's just 2 damage less. So the game's going okay so far. I need to be careful not to be lit up with queen here. I suspect he's going to play queen. Oh, no, okay. So he dodged again. And I've got throw into 5-5-4, which is going to get me a single ace. That's okay. I could also, just put him on the ground. Unfortunately there, probably should have followed that up just to get the guaranteed damage in. Very unlikely that that was going to be a joker, considering it gets him out of his speed of the fox situation. On the other hand, leaving him on the ground does allow me to try to play an attack with greater impunity. I'm really only worried about queen here. Queen or jack with a 10 backup is pretty bad. But he has kind of discarded a couple of 10s so far. Yeah, so I managed to sneak this in. I can go into this with big damage. This makes me think he probably has a joker, but we've got the high normals, and we're kind of in the same situation as he is typically, where I don't really care that he gets some more cards. That doesn't really affect me in any way, and it's way more important for me to get aces. I probably should have tacked the other 5 on there, just because I'd rather block in this late game situation. I'd rather... Yeah. Typically, I would prefer not to block with throws, but if I get a block thrown, that further kind of starves me of throws, so that's one less thing I can power up with. Okay, hits me with the queen, and this is probably going to be GG. I definitely should be face downing here. Yeah, get rid of the jack, because that's not much use to me. I've got the aces now, but this is still going to be lethal. No, okay, we're still alive. But he is frustratingly out of reach right now. Difficult situation for me. Oh, has the 7 too. Gross. Gross, gross, gross. So he's going to have all parts of the mix-up here. Yeah, gets the queen, a 7, so he's got a dominant throw, a dominant attack, and he always has the option to dodge here. I don't know what I end up doing. I'm thinking probably that he wants to throw, given that he has the dominant attack with the queen. So I can try to counter throw with the 9 to hedge against dodges as well. Especially since I have 2 10s for backup. Yeah, and he just queens me anyway. So nicely done on his part. This is going to be lethal. Still going to face down. But that is going to be game 1. Unfortunate. Yeah, I Am Nobody is casting simultaneously. Okay, we get ourselves a pack. Yeah, so why do I dislike this matchup on further evaluation? So I felt good about it because I had had some good experiences against Setsuki in the past. But increasingly what becomes clear is you just don't have tremendous efficient damage. You have to commit a lot to combos to get ace-ace online. You have to commit... if you're poking with single ace, you're dealing 10 damage at a time, and that's it. You can try to throw into big damage, but basically any situation where you are dealing a big amount of damage or have the potential to deal a big amount of damage, you're telegraphing that really hard. And Setsuki has a tremendous ability to cycle through her deck, which means that she is more likely than almost any other character in the game to find jokers more often. In the early game, Valerie still has to play really kind of badly weighted block attack range. She has to block to build to a hand where she can deal a lot of damage, which means that Setsuki can throw a lot, and Setsuki really likes to throw because unlike other characters, she can get card advantage off of throw, right? It doesn't hurt her hand composition. Quite to the contrary, she really likes throwing because it's the most guaranteed way of either keeping to the same hand size or reducing your hand size. Like, if she loses combat with a throw, she stays on the same hand size, and she has probably about the same odds of being able to dump her hand that she did previously. Yeah, the other thing, too, is I was fishing with a 7 there to try to find a 4th normal, or to have a second chance to draw a 4th normal attack so that I could get the good combo going. Which doesn't end up being the case. So I kind of get screwed on both sides. You know, he empties his hand for free because he's able to counter, and I also don't deal all that much damage because I just don't have anything to follow it up with. So he's got the Speed of the Fox set up. So in any of these situations, it's very much kind of a... I can threaten to have single ace and play it, so I can try to block out queens, or I can try to block dodges that way. Manage to get a joker. Yeah, very important that you get jokers in this matchup. This is just, it extends your life to such a tremendous degree. But yeah, just generally, as Valerie, you're still stuck in that awkward I have to build phase in the early game. And then you very badly telegraph when you're going to go in for damage, and it's just awkward. It's an awkward. I feel like it's an awkward matchup. Then again, I mean, like, that's not to say that you can't have tremendous success if you get just the right draws. Like, if you start the game with 4 normals in hand, that's an incredible bonus. If you start the game with a 10 in hand, that is phenomenal. The more 7s with, or the more 7s, the more jacks with face card backup. Yeah, you can have games like this where you're just dealing upsetting amounts of damage pretty efficiently, but most of the time it's not going to be a good scene, I would say. So going for the throw here, because Setsuki on 3 cards is very much incentivized to either dodge or throw. So, pretty good situation for me. Yeah, so I have lethal here off of throw. Yeah, I'm gonna undo this. Yeah, so throw 3 jack is the safest way to end that, because I still retain a queen, a block, and a joker. Yeah, math is hard. So we're 1-1. Doing okay, we're still in this. Yeah, so who would I play? I don't like Onimaru versus Setsuki either, although some people seem to think it's okay. I can't imagine how that could possibly be the case. Setsuki has some of the best, or some of the most plentiful dodges in the game. Onimaru is very uncomfortable with a dodge throw range. You can't, like, she's never going to block, so your guard crush is just never a thing. I don't understand. Like, I can't imagine. So much of your damage is concentrated on your attacks. It just seems like an awful experience all around. Why would I do that? Maybe somebody can explain to me in the comments if you're more familiar with the matchup. I've never played it because I just assume it's god awful. Feel free to enlighten me. That seems terrible, truly terrible. So what I would do is I would probably play Grave, because he kind of covers a lot of the issues that Valerie has. Grave has a 0.0 speed queen, which deals 10 damage, so he can compete with Setsuki in the attack game. In fact, trading queen for queen is tremendously good for Grave. Tremendously good. So that's all fine. He can get his super online pretty quickly. He only needs 3 aces to threaten 45 damage, which is, just shy of Setsuki's entire life bar. He can throw into about 20. He can throw into 19 with 2 cards if he's got an ace, or 21 if he has 3 cards for 21, which is also great. Pretty efficient. His blocks are incredible, and can get him card advantage incredibly fast. You can also happen to have the possibility of getting him his queen, which, as we've mentioned, is phenomenal. So yeah, that's probably what I would do. In that situation, I wonder about not following up with the other normals. I guess I hold them back because they're not tremendous amount of damage. And they have dodges on them. Dodges are pretty good. For Valerie, she can dodge into 21 if she's got Jack and 2 face cards. Dodge into card neutral. 10 damage with dodge into single ace. That's also pretty good. But, yeah. Unfortunately, Fivec is absolutely throwing me to death, getting a lot of success off of these throws. The amount of dodging that he has been doing is really kind of discouraging me from attacking. So that's covering that option pretty well. Gets himself single ace. So in this situation, 5 cards, single ace. The fact that he went for an ace indicates to me that he probably has the other one so that he can combo into it. In these situations, I like to attack typically, because temptation to throw into double ace is very strong. On the other hand, queen. So that's one setup, right? You get the ace. You now have 2 aces in hand. Therefore, you throw into aces because it's a lot of damage off of throw. On the other hand, you can also not have 2 aces in hand, just play a queen, dump that ace, and then you're out of that kind of awkward situation you were in before. So we've blocked our way up to an okay hand here. I'm not sure I like the throw. The reason for that being, he's played a queen, he has single ace of his own. Dodging into single ace is still pretty good, and he's just going to dump his hand off of this. So here's a situation where I might choose to face down. Yeah, face downing with the king is okay. He is definitely, yeah, he's definitely going to dump. It might have made, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe that might actually be bad as well. Any situation where you're face downing against Setsuki, you have to make a really compelling case or have a pretty good read on the fact that she's got an awkward hand if she does dump. So she'd prefer not to anyway. I don't know, it's really, really situational. You can almost never get it. And I'm throwing here because I expect really safe dodge. He's probably just going to attack. He's got a queen. Yep, okay, no, safe dodge. So we can put 22 damage on the table here, unless he's got a joker. Okay, no joker. Do have 4 normals. Unfortunately, really low normals, so only 12 damage there. He is no longer in Speed of the Fox, though, so his dodge has become a little less effective. Queen could put him at 9. Pretty good. On the other hand, yeah. If I'm gonna be attacking, I might as well attack with a 2. Not sure if I can. I don't believe I can kill with throw. Yeah, so I probably shouldn't. If I'm going to be playing a non-attack, it should be a block. I suppose a dodge could also be pretty good. Yeah, no, cleans me up with the single ace. No sense tying that. So that one was fairly close. Could have gotten away with some more blocking in that last turn or so. Riker giving me a pep talk from can't remember where they were. I think CEO? Might have been CEO. Yeah, so we can try poking here. We've got okay odds to draw a normal. We can try, yeah. We're gonna go put some extra damage on this. So he's gonna drop down to less cards in hand, but that's actually fine. Doesn't bother me too much. If we can get a normal, no, we don't get a normal. That's sad. We do draw an ace though, so we're gonna have the double ace. And puts himself down to 2 cards, so he may be able to discard or power up 2 to get out of this hand. Yeah, does so. So he's going to be on a 5-card hand, and I have nothing but attacks in hand, which isn't great. I do have the Joker. That's okay. We can start playing single aces, but I think I'd rather play the 3 and get hit by a queen than lose a single ace to a dodge. Getting the 3 dodged is also fine. I just play the Joker. Yeah. So Joker here. Or I can, no, so yeah, so I may elect not to here. Okay, yeah, I'm actually both shocked that he didn't follow that up and really mad he didn't follow that up. Because how dare he not follow up into my Joker? Unfortunately, that leaves me on a 5-card hand with nothing but attacks, which really sucks. Yeah. Like, I thought the Joker was pretty much guaranteed there. I was thinking about not playing it just because 4-card hand. Four card hand is probably not going to deal a tremendous amount of damage unless he drew two aces in it. So so it's possible, yeah. I don't know. Yeah, so I mean, I wasn't going to prevent a ton of damage there anyway. It still sucks though. Like, how dare you not follow up? That's bullshit. You're Setsuki. You're supposed to always follow up and give me free cards. So, pretty mad. Yeah, pretty mad, I would say. On a scale of 1 to 10. Describe myself as an 8 mad. Well, he's probably got a good sense that I don't have any throws. And there's really nothing for me to dodge into. That just... So if I dodge into single ace, that means I draw back up to 5 cards, right? But the 2 cards that I draw are probably not going to be as good as dodge and a single ace. So I'd rather just play the 3 attack and look for a duff. And like either poke into something, like poke into drawing a block. Yeah, nothing but garbage here. So because aces and queens equivalently lose to queen, might as well play the ace because it gets us normal draw, quote unquote. And this is the kind of thing that you just don't run into as much with Grave, I feel like. Where you just have nothing but attacks in hand. And especially, like, attacks... Like, if I had this hand... If this was translated into Grave hand, I power up those 2 kings, now I have True Power of Storms and a 0.0 speed queen. In comparison to a whole bunch of stuff that loses to queen. And a block. So I can choose to block now. However, I think I've probably convinced him that I will continue attacking forever. And as soon as I draw a block, I'm going to play it. So I'm hoping he thinks I've drawn a block and have now played it. Is basically the concept. Yay, we did it. Just never stop, never stopping. Okay, so we're evening things out. If I hit him with another ace, we will be at basically equivalent life totals. My hand will still be hot garbage, though. So at some point, I'm going to have to start blocking. Successfully. I'm really hoping he tries to throw me again. Thank goodness. Okay, so the king throw means he's got no throws, actually. He posted in the thread afterwards, basically saying, "Yeah, I don't value trap. So if I don't queen you and then I draw you a queen, sorry, if I don't queen you one turn and then I queen you the next turn, then I just drew that queen, kind of thing. So I should take this as license to block. Of course, I mean, he could have drawn a throw at any point here. If I'm blocking with the 5. Because losing the 9, which can be brought down to 7.2 speed, and he's already played 3 7s, that would be pretty bad. Or I can try to duff another throw, which, again, I'm not really thinking, because if he's throwing with a king, it means he doesn't have any. That should be obvious, but Unfortunately, I let him get out of that hand and also deal me 22 damage. So he had nothing but face cards. So by no means am I saying that this was impossible for me to win. I made some critical mistakes, and that was one of them. Not blocking there. Even on the possibility that, hey, maybe he could have drawn a throw in that last turn, but take the odds. Okay, so we're going to undercut here unless he's got a 10. And if he has a 10, then we're going to reduce a bunch of damage. So this is fine. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's not unreasonable for him to have it, but he probably doesn't have enough damage to kill here unless he's got a king. Oh. Could he have killed on that? No, I guess not. I guess not. No, because he only had the one other card in hand, so he couldn't have pumped to kill that. To kill in that situation. Again, not sure why I'm throwing here. He doesn't really have an incentive to dodge. Yeah. That was bad. I've been a little too greedy on throws. Yeah. A little bit too greedy on throws in the last kind of round, like last combat situations in this set, I think. Definitely giving up situations where I could have blocked a little bit more. Even with my hand being as garbage as it was for so long, could have been handled better. Definitely could have made it closer than it ended up being. Okay, so back in neutral, in this situation, I'm probably blocking with a 7 or playing an ace. Ace only really loses to queen. Luckily, he does not play a queen. Yeah, and in the early game, he's playing very throw dodge heavy. He's trying to get around normal pokes, single aces. And also punish my blocks, because I desperately want to block until I have 13 cards and have all of the tools that I need in the matchup. So throws with a 10 and doesn't in fact have another 10. Would probably have put another 7 on the table there for the more guaranteed damage, but again, I'm kind of leery of walking into a joker. So it doesn't end up having, could have had a little bit more damage there maybe. Still, 20 damage and 2 aces is pretty good, so I'm feeling alright about the way this match is going so far. I have the 7 throw, which is pretty good. Served me well. Okay, empty power-ups are also really good. Really glad to see those kings go away. That is phenomenal. Again, it's gonna make it a little bit more difficult for him to empty his hand on future combos. He's really got to find jacks now. Although, again, with the speed that Setsuki goes through her deck, it's not impossible that she finds the other kings that she needs. But it will be slightly more difficult than it otherwise would be. So going for the throw here, because I have good damage off of it. And I'm expecting either a throw or a dodge, because it's a speed of the fox turn. And every speed of the fox turn, the threat is basically, hey, I drew a queen. I totally drew a queen, guy. So there, good damage. And this is the type of game that I'm talking about where I say that, you know, this type of game can really convince you that the matchup is fine. Because we've hit him with 2 combos and he's at 19. So that's pretty good. And we have lethal in hand off of either an attack or a throw. So that's pretty good. And unless he has a Joker, he's dead now. Yeah, no reason not to play into this. There we go. So yeah, the 3 combat perfect is a, I would say a deceptive lure. But yeah, glad to put one of those at least on the table. He is on match point, so I have to win 2, he has to win 1. Thank you, the Huguenot, for cheering me on. So Fivec taking a second to think about that last match, shake it off a little bit. Kind of a perfect storm situation. He threw with a 10, which was turned out to have been his only 10. And then, you know, got throw into double ace, and then also had 21 damage in face cards lying around. So pretty hard for Setsuki to come, you know, to make anything happen in that game. You know, didn't have queens. This is pretty good. I'm going to try to fish for a 4th normal. He is going to counter and put himself down to a lower hand, which is also fine with me. But he's going to be able to, or, sorry, I was going to say, he is going to be able to dump off of this, but he can't because, obviously. Yeah. Play these crappy normals here just to get aces. So not ideal, but doesn't really matter what those normals were. And the end situation would have been the same. And that's kind of the thing, right? The Achilles heel of Valerie in this matchup is that you never really get a situation where you can afford to just go for knockdown or poke. Because most of the time, Setsuki is just going to be dumping a random card to get closer to her goal of having 0 or 1 cards in hand. And every combo that you leave in your hand and don't put into her face means she has one more chance of activating Speed of the Fox, going to an advantaged situation, drawing more queens, more jokers, etc. So Fivec getting another throw in. Gets good damage off of this as well. Anything around the 20 damage range is good damage. And then if she has aces, that turns into 30 damage, and that's very good damage. And yeah, Valerie, 10 less hit points than Grave. The other counter pick to Setsuki would be to play Trock. At this point, I had not yet decided that that was the grappler I was going to play. Spoilers. Yeah, so just not a situation where I was in a great state. And I mean, I made an okay run of it. This could be a lot worse than it is. So that's pretty good. I draw another ace off the aces, so I am actually going to have 2 aces in hand, which is great. And that deals pretty good damage and puts me 20 hit points in the lead. So we have a situation where I can put something together. Throw ace is 22. That leaves him at like 20 health. I've got a queen that accounts for 14 of those hit points. It's looking pretty good. I believe I went for the throw here just because he has been pretty throw happy. And he might elect to try to go for a dodge because 5 cards in hand might be too many to effectively dump off of a throw or attack option. Nope. Folks with the 3. I Okay, and no dump whatsoever. So actually building a bit of a hand on that turn. So that's a bit of a surprise to me. So no kings, and no jacks, or insufficient jacks. What I should probably be doing is blocking from this angle, because if he drew, I don't know, I feel like he's drawn a queen. And he has drawn a queen. I think I just remembered that he had drawn a queen. So again, he didn't have that last turn. He might have drawn it off the normal attack. But it is an excellent situation, even if you had it in hand last turn, to play it right after you play the 3. Because it's like, oh, okay, you 3 attacked, you didn't follow up into anything, which means you probably didn't have the cards you needed to be able to dump. Therefore, it's pretty safe for me to assume that you're going to go for a throw or a dodge. Therefore, I should throw, and therefore you should queen and dump your hand and make me pay as hard as possible for that incorrect assumption. So I have no good throws, and if I throw with a 10 and get outsped with a 7, I feel double bad, because there's no way I can catch it. In fact, I have to rely on him throwing with a 9 to be able to reliably outspeed. So instead I go for the 6, and try to undercut this 3. So even though I don't manage to undercut, that's fine. I am at least going to... yeah, Huguenot, I don't know why exactly that you're so shocked. He draws an incredible... like, Setsuki draws an incredible amount of cards. So... he's going to have it every time. Yeah, and is able to dump off of it. Okay, so he draws up to 6, and he's got a single ace in hand. I draw a 7 throw, which is pretty great. So again, counter throw, pretty good. He did say, so Fivec did say after this match that he had started considering, or he had to start considering just playing stuff that he knew I would beat, or playing stuff to beat the thing that would beat the smart play. So that's good. Because that is definitely what you need to go for. Unfortunately, he has a Joker there that just puts him that much further out of reach. If I draw another face card, that will be 21. And if I draw another 6, then I have lethal off of throw. Okay, so he now has 2 face cards, or 2 aces, rather. So strong incentive for him to be throwing or queening here. So I play the queen just to hedge against an attack that isn't queen, and also any throws. It'll deal okay damage. And I don't really want to risk the jack. He dodges, of course, and is going to be able to dodge into at least 19, possibly 28. Yeah, just double aces. And again, I mean, it's an okay place to face down. The only issue is that, well, I guess it's a throw. I don't really need all that many throws. So I've got to threaten the fact that I'm going to throw him, but also need to block. Those are kind of my twin, my real combat options. Throws deal 6 damage apiece, so that's pretty good. Yeah, really happy with that combat. I started thinking about the fact that he had been attacking fairly regularly off of a 4-card hand, so I did want to at least push a block once or twice. I believe I end up throwing here. Maybe I do end up dodging or blocking. Can't remember. Neither is great. Check to see how many 7s are played, and I don't know that there are all that many, but just in case. Yeah, so this is good. Getting the 7th throw in is fine. Yeah, I do want to ignore that because I don't have anything to follow up with. Yeah, so he gets out of the hand anyway. Single ace in hand, so that kind of discourages cross-up attempts because he can play single ace at 1.0 speed. And in this situation, even if I single ace him, yeah, so I'm hoping he's tempted to block. Yeah, no, he just queens me, and this is going to be for lethal. And that's going to be the set. So well played to Fivec. I bow to your Setsuki. I will not play her with Valerie in the future. And yeah, so nicely played. So I go down to loser's bracket, and we'll continue Summer Smash from there. So I need to take one more loss. I'm still in this, and I'll bring you some more Yomi action as soon as I can. Cheers.